So when the paycheck stopped this time around, what did that mean for you personally?
And so it's a big hit in your gut because I mean we came through the last shutdown in October, and so we were barely kind of making just kind of making everything through and trying to catch up to everything and just recover.
For 9 years, Robert Echeverria worked as a lead transportation security officer at Salt Lake City International Airport, represented by the same union as PDX officers. Since last fall's government shutdown, he says his team lost more than 100 officers.
You mentioned the emotional toll. Can you talk me through more of that? I mean, that's something that people just don't see, right? But what is that like? What does that gut punch feel like?
My wife was actually really stressed, and there was nights that she would go to sleep crying, literally crying, because we didn't know what to do the following day for food, or even the aspect of like, hey, I need to go to a food pantry. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing, and it takes a toll on you because we're like, hey, we're working hard, but we're not seeing the fruits of our labor.
What were you having to choose between, or did you have to give anything up during that time without pay?
We did. We actually had to give up Christmas.
About 3 weeks into the current government shutdown, which began February 14th, Robert started looking for a new job.
It was hard. It was hard for me to leave something that I've been working so hard for 9 years, but I had to do it for the benefit and the health wise of myself and my family.
So walk me through that day that you decided to quit.
And as I wrote that letter, um, it didn't dawn on me how hard it was going to be for me to actually leave something that I loved, and especially my fellow coworkers that became a family to me.
This must have changed like how you viewed working, for the federal government. Usually that's like a stable job, as you mentioned, something you've worked towards for years. How did this change how you thought about the stability of working for TSA?
Well, and that's one of the things is like so I feel that when I came into TSA, they gave us a lot of promises. They pretty much offer you the world, and they tell you like, hey, this is kind of like the opening that you can move up to any agency and be able to just be really stable, like you just said, and be great. And in reality, it is a great job. It's amazing. But what kind of holds us back is the shutdowns.
Robert went through 5 government shutdowns during his 9 years with TSA. He still works at the airport, but now in a customer liaison role.
But I'm able to see my fellow coworkers, but I see them on a different aspect, and I actually can see their stress level, and actually see their faces and how drained they are emotionally.
Would you ever consider returning to working for TSA?
I do consider it, but I think a lot of things would have to change.
If you could say one thing to lawmakers, what would it be?
Um, Put yourselves in our shoes. Most of these people that work with me live check by check sometimes, and they don't have the ability to have savings. So if lawmakers were to put everything else aside and put humanity first, I think that's the biggest aspect of it.
Okay, this week, TSA officers started receiving back pay for unpaid hours worked, but many officers, Robert included, are saying their checks are incorrect. This latest shutdown, Robert worked 3 weeks without pay, and he's only received half of the money he's owed. And with Congress now on spring break, it's unclear if there will be future checks for those still on the job. And the Department of Homeland Security has not responded to our question on that.